Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you tuned in for my first video, that is. If not, then welcome. This is Evermore, and today we're going to be working on our speed build for this huge space filler. This will be our valley/canyon sort of area, and yeah, I'm really excited. So let's get into the video. So it begins. In this first clip here, we are working on figuring out where we want our trees to go. I have been caught far too many times with cute cliffs and cute waterfalls and nowhere to put trees because I didn't leave myself enough room. So now anytime I start a build, I am mapping out where I want trees to go. At least in the case up there by that little bridge, because I know I want a tree there. Yeah, besides that, you'll also see me periodically throwing down things where I kind of want future builds to go. So for example, I've dropped that campfire right by our beach down there because at the time, at least, spoiler, I thought that I was going to move the campsite up there into that little space, but once I fill in this cliff up here, I decide that it would look cuter on top of the cliff. So that's where it ends up. Again, spoiler alert. That won't be part of this video. I will show you guys the campsite build in a different video. This build was going well. This is fine. Well, you guys can see how well that went. Don't mind me taking some medicine to fix this. Also, as you guys might notice throughout this video, presents will randomly appear in places where once there was no present. That's because I cut out the footage of me shooting down the balloons, but whenever I'm building, I do always try to get the balloons that go by. I felt like in the sped up footage especially, trying to include all of the instances of me shooting down those pesky balloons got a little annoying to watch. So instead of seeing me actually shoot them down, you will instead just see presents appearing. So try not to focus too much on those. Now I am just laying down where I want paths to go. We finished outlining where that cliff face is going to be. And speaking of, we're now about to get rid of that incline that is in the middle of our cliffs area there. So as soon as that's gone, we will be able to fill in the rest of that cliff. And I want the incline to go up kind of where I was laying out that path. I gotta be honest, even, in post, voicing this over, this little island right here that we're working on right now is probably one of my favorite spots of the entire build. Was it one of the most annoying to decorate? Because I kept having trouble trying to place that wheat field on a half tile? Yes. But did it turn out great in the end? Also yes. Speaking of, one of the mysterious presents just appeared again. Just remember that present for now, though. We're gonna come back to that later. Yeah, notice every time that I run by this present, later I do pick up this present, and while I cut that out of the footage, it will eventually appear again as a short or a reel because I have the original audio from when I opened that present, and it is wonderful. But in the original voiceover, where I was talking over this while I was building, I made a comment about how I never play in November, and because I never play in November, I feel like I don't have any of the mushroom recipes, especially the mushroom lamps. All the mushroom lamps that I have, I've gotten from people via trading, or I have happened upon them shaking items from trees and whatnot. That present that I keep running by is the mush lamp DIY recipe. I don't know it at the time. Right now, the Ashley you're seeing is blissfully unaware that one of her favorite items in the game, the recipe for that she doesn't have yet, is in that balloon she keeps running by. But yep, here I am just building up some of these cliffs in the back. At the time, I didn't really know what I was going to do back here. This was sort of just a placeholder. I know the waterfall will stay, but I believe that the area behind that waterfall and to the back of my island is going to become sort of a mountain area. And so begins the saga of me calling a rescue services 1, 2, 3, and 4 times, despite having a ladder in my inventory. Did I need to call rescue services? No, not at all. But I was insistent on using vines to crawl everywhere, and you can't place vines by flowers, so I just, for some reason, assumed that you couldn't use the ladder with flowers there either. But anyways, now that we are done with calling rescue services, you can see that all of those little areas at the bottom of the cliff had been decorated. But yeah. Yeah, I didn't like this pansy. This pansy personally wronged me. I didn't like that there was one immediately visible in the background, so I had to change it. Now we are on to filling in this little island section. Honestly, this little island here is probably one of my favorite sections on my island that I've ever done. It's really cute. And while we're working on this island section, now is actually a great time for me to mention some of the creators who I got inspiration from while I was planning for this build. I found this picture here on the left. That's from Red Moon Crossing on Instagram. I found this picture on Pinterest, but I really liked the layering in this build. And really what did it for me was the second picture here on the right. This one is by this user on Pinterest at Cons Husbay. I believe I've said that right. If not, I am sorry. But yeah, they post a lot of really cute Animal Crossing inspiration pictures. So that's where I got the inspiration for this build from. And if you notice me dropping these apples everywhere, we will come back to those. That's just so I remember to come back and stunt the trees that I'm planting now. Because if I don't leave the apple there, I will run past them on day 3, forgetting that I was supposed to stunt them. Ooh, I wanted to take this moment to get some feedback. Do you guys prefer this sped up footage in Speedbuild style content? I know I personally watch a lot of those, which is why I was excited to do one myself, but I'm also interested in trying out some shorter form Let's Play style videos for Animal Crossing. So I'm curious, which video style do you guys prefer? Which do you prefer to watch? But yeah, now I'll just take a step back and let you guys enjoy the speed build here. So begins the saga of me trying to work on this path. I originally wanted to have it set up where it was sidewalk and then it broke up the farther along it went. I scrapped that whole idea. This whole path is going to change. This will not stay. So I sped forward to this section here to the right of that path that will stay. And it's time for a self-care check. Have you taken your meds today? Maybe you need a snack, drink some water. I know I personally need to take a break for some water. And with that, we have time traveled to the next day here. For now, I'm putting in some more trees. I felt like this area was a little bit barren. So we're just going back in and retroactively moving some trees around until I'm happy with how it looks. I don't really have a process when it comes to these things. I just do and then undo and get mad at myself for undoing and then doing again until I like how it looks. That's as much building advice as we can offer over here at Axo Kindness. Just do until you like. We're slowly inching our way closer to that cliff area. For now, I'm just building this little pathway up here because whenever my beach is not covered in flowers, it will be decorated to where you can come down this way as well to access the campsite. You could go above behind resident services or wander down this way if you want to take a more natural approach. And I do spend some time going back and forth fighting with how I want this cliff to look. I felt like when it was straight down like it just was, it wasn't natural enough, so I fought with it, but eventually I just settled on where it is now. I realized that was fine. Now, compared to the more city, urban aesthetic like the other half of my island is, getting over here into these more natural areas, this is really my roots. This is what I'm the most comfortable with doing, how my island has previously been prior to discovering some of those road codes. Natural decoration is really my specialty, but that being said, I had a lot of fun exploring some more urban parts for this island, and we will still explore some more. That's not done yet. Again, with me using the vines, why I insist on using the vines over the ladder, I'm not sure. I guess it's just tedious for me to have to pull my ladder out, and I do like to have my shovel handy as my most recent tool most of the time, so maybe that's it. Another present down for the balloon counter if anyone's watching. If anyone's keeping up with that, I'm certainly not. Putting the final touches over here on this little entrance area to the bridge view of our little canyon here. Canyon, valley. I don't know, when I looked up Animal Crossing canyon inspiration, they were a lot more desert core than I want this to be, so I guess we'll just settle with calling it valley. But yes, we are almost done decorating this cute little area here. One of the last touches I want to put in is a little signpost, and I do end up changing the color of that mush lamp just because the white felt too, I don't know, it felt like it was standing out too much. So I changed it to the more orange color that the one behind it is. I think that happens here. Yep, there was the mush lamp. So we will place these items down here. I'll take one more look at those, and oh my gosh, as I was wandering around, I caught Bones and Deirdre having the cutest conversation. I never have sisterly villagers on my island. The only other sisterly I've had on my island besides Deirdre was my starter villager, Muffy. And I know this is gonna be a hot take, but this is a Muffy hate club. She was so mean to me the whole time we were on our island, and maybe it's just that I'm fragile. I know that the Animal Crossing characters aren't that mean, but she had it out for me. I was hitting her with a net. I was trying everything that I could do to get her to leave my island, and the day that she left, we rejoiced. So, I know a lot of people like Muffy. I'm sorry if you like Muffy. This is an anti-Muffy island. This was me realizing that I still had to go all the way over to that island and fight my way up there to stunt that tree. But yeah, now I'm just working on placing some more trees around this path, again, for space filler. This whole area here that we're running through won't be decorated in this video. Spoiler alert, I'm gonna do this off camera, but you guys will see it next time. I am, however, placing these trees in front, not realizing that I wanted to place fences in front of them later. So in a moment here, you're going to see me have to waste more fruit to dig them back up and place a fence where I want the fence to go, and then put them back. It's a long and tedious process. No one ever said the building in this game was easy. Yep, this is great. This is such riveting content here. But I will admit, it was tedious, and I was mad at myself at the time, but it pays off in the end. I really like how the fences look in front of that and add a little bit of height and depth to that front area there. Even though you don't see much of it in this speed build, it'll play a role later, just trust me. Now, obviously, we've talked a lot about like natural, like nature, I guess like forest core, forest core and such in this video, because that's the kind of style of decorating I have the most experience with and that I think is the most fun personally. But if you build an Animal Crossing, what style do you build in? Have you done aesthetically themed islands, or do you just kind of build whatever you want to build without worrying about a theme? Sometimes I wish I was like that, but alas, every time I've tried to do that, I end up redoing it in favor for a theme. Alright, but we're putting the finishing touches, at least for as far as this speed build is concerned, the finishing touches on this fence here. Yes, I did eventually remember to come back to this island and stunt this tree here. However, I didn't bring any fruit. So this is me chopping down that tree and replacing it with another tree of the same stage that I just happened to have in my pockets. I didn't have fruit, but I did have a large young hardwood. Hey, bestie! And with that, I believe I am officially on Rossetti's block list. Thankfully, I don't need his help again for the rest of this video, but if I ever need it in the future, looks like I'm out of luck. He is absolutely not going to come help me again after all of the calls I have put in today. This is also me retroactively realizing I wasted at least 400 of those miles because I could have gotten out of 4 of those situations with a ladder. So, you know, the price we pay for convenience. But yes, this is what our new incline looks like over here, in case we haven't been here yet. But these little space fillers, they're just my favorite thing to do. I love to fill in these tiny spaces and make them lush and lively and include little details, like you're seeing these mushrooms here eventually. And yeah, speaking of the little codes and details that I love to put into things, I will eventually, again, have all of these custom design codes up. Right now, I am actually in college. I'm in my 5th year, so I'm almost done. But that just means I am looking so much more forward to getting out. That being said, exam time is kind of approaching, and I've had a lot of final projects I'm working on. So, in trying to balance Animal Crossing with schoolwork and things that I have to do, I probably won't have the codes posted until the dream address comes out, but if you want a specific code before then, please comment. Please just be like, hey, what was the code for the mushrooms that you're using on your island? Or what's the code for those planks that you're using? And I will comment back and get you that information if you are interested in any of these codes specifically. Because for some of these codes I looked for a long time, so I'm happy to share the ones that I found if you're interested. Lots of customizing later, but I guess I can tell you guys now, here in this little cliffside area is where the campsite will eventually go. Again, it's not happening in this video. The focus of this video is our little valley speed build here, but you guys will eventually see how that campsite turned out, because it is done by the time I'm doing this voiceover, and it is super cute, and I'm really happy with it. So yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see that, and also to see what I ended up doing with this spacious area to the bottom left of where we currently were just running through that space with the trees and the fences. Wow, that really narrows it down. And we are so close to being done with this speed build. I am putting the finishing touches on this area here. I've just got some fences left to put in over here, some custom codes, and with that, we will call it done. And without further ado, it is time for the grand reveal of how this area came out. Y'all, I can't wait to show you the final product. I'm so excited. We had to travel back to Golden Hour for the final reveal. You know how much I love Golden Hour. All right, so from here to the left of our incline, we come across this little bridge overlook. I, again, love how that little island in the middle of our river area turned out. Love how this whole area turned out, but that island especially. And whenever this beach isn't flowers, there will be a really cute pathway here. Excuse me while I run through these flowers real quick, again, for the millionth time. Anyways, entering this area from the north side by our park, you wander down this cute little trail here with these little trees and the wheat fields, and hop across these little jumping spots to the main event, our floating island area. And without further ado, let's get into the money shot. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you made it all the way through this speed build, I appreciate you. I love you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.